Hello everyone, how are you guys doing today, all of my friends? And this is part 2 of the house sparrow sitting on aspen tree. And I'm going to do one aspen over here, one over here. Last time we couldn't finish, we took a little bit more than an hour, so I decided that just to give the aspen tree justice, so we won't rush through it, and so we're gonna do it now, okay? However, since the house sparrow in the front are the main focus of this painting, we are going to not, or try not to, do so much detail, okay, on the aspen behind it and the one that they are standing on, one of the branch, but we will see how we do. I think we will, in consideration of time, we always overtime, but overtime is relative. Nobody is the time police here except YouTube and my daughter, because they, it's hard to upload. Actually, I'm the one that do the uploading, but still, that is our constraint. But we will be careful, okay, and try to do it in a good speed, but not rush, because you guys can always stop it and then come back and do it again, okay? And so let's just start with, we will put some detail on, but hopefully we won't let it take away, run away from us and just keep doing the detail, because it is kind of fun. Okay, so what I just did is I will just go on and mix up some mixture of Payne's gray and indigo. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put the shadowy part on first, because if we try to do the body of the aspen and then do the shadow, sometimes, not all the times, it depends on how long a time you have for the painting to dry, before you put the shadow on again. We will, the difference of how much it will lift, whatever the base layer that we do. It depends on, the amount of time that we have to let the first part of the painting dry. But since for me over here is that I'm going to have to do it in one setting of filming, and so I would like to be a little more watchful, because I don't have time, to let it not that I don't have time, I can always come back, I guess, to let it thoroughly dry. I guess, maybe that's a good suggestion for you, okay? So I'm trying to do, the area that's behind the branch, okay? I would like to think that that is a little bit of a shadow over there, okay? And so this branch will probably cast some shadow over here, so we can make that part a little bit darker too. Okay? And then we want this part to be a little bit lighter, because we think that the sunlight will come in from the back, and then it will cast the light over here and maybe a little bit shadowy over there, over this area, okay? And so what I'm doing is, I'm going in here and I'm going to just, slightly wet this area. And then what I'm going to do is go drop in the mix of the Payne's gray and the indigo, so it's kind of like a darkish blue color. Because what we're trying to do is we're hoping to make the, instead of a flat rectangle, when you draw a tree on a piece of two-dimensional paper, right? We try to do a rectangle, but a tree is not a rectangle, so as artists we need to make sure that we put in some shadow to help the viewer that are looking at the painting, at least try our best to make sure that it looks more like a cylinder, right? Because a tree, of course, it is a cylinder. I used to have an aspen tree outside, which from this window I could have seen it, but aspen trees are very, very pretty trees. They really are very, very pretty living things, but they like to shoot out lots and lots of shoots that come from the root up, and so it become very, pesky. It can actually go a long distance to your neighbor's house, and then your neighbor will be mad at you. Not that they have ever been mad at me, and so this is like a gradual, like a cylinder when you gradually, so this is darker and then it gradually go lighter, but there's still some shadow over here. It's not totally white. Okay, so we will try our best to portray that, but over here the shadow is not as dark as this area. Okay, so we will try to, but not with a lot of details, make this part at least try our best to make it seems a little bit darker. There's actually some reflective light over here, but because we're not doing so much detail, we decide to ignore it. And so this area, okay, so we're going into, I don't know if you remember, we have this piece of paper. It's 4" by 12". So it's not we're not going to do the detail all the way to the edge of the paper, and so we have this irregular shape. To me, and I know a lot of artists will like to leave this these shapes irregular. Okay, try to do that and not stop with a straight line. Okay, because I think with the people's eye, when they're looking at that, they will just eventually say that, oh, okay, this keep on going, and you can make it partly a lost line and partly a fine line, so it's just a suggestion that this place actually keep going, this area actually keep going. Okay, and now that we are going to let that area dry, I'm quite happy with it. Let's do this aspen over here. I'm gonna have to push some of the watercolor off, and yeah, I love my aspen tree, because I'm naturally a very much of a nature lover. When it was still alive, when we decide to before we decide to take it down, because it was like just shooting shoots everywhere over the yard, I used to just go out there and stand out there and look at aspen tree because they're just so interesting. They have okay, so I wet that area and then I come in and drop in some color. Okay, irregular shape over here. Okay, so it's just like whatever you want to do, don't be too uptight over here, and just let it go. Okay, all the way over here. Okay, and over here too. Okay, and then like what we did on the other side. Okay, we make sure that the edges are all softened, and then we come and intensify that area a little bit more. Okay, and choose not to worry about the reflective light that probably could have gone to that side too. Okay, okay, and let me see. Okay, let's do this branch over here. Okay, if the sun is coming down from the back, then the lower part should be more towards the shadow, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just, I really am slightly wetting that part. Hopefully this the aspen, the part 2 aspen part will not be too long, but we will, it's me, and so we'll try to still make it quite pretty, and we don't have to worry about that. Okay, because it's going to be a painting, and I'll show you. Okay, I want to make the bottom part a little bit more irregular. I think I've told you guys one of my other paintings. There was this one Christmas, one of my friends, she was, at church in charge of some of the activity, right? And so she told me, Kathy, if you want to, And if you don't mind, maybe you can teach a group of our sisters meaning the ladies in our church. We call each other brothers and sisters, and teach them how to paint something that's kind of Christmassy. And maybe if I have the chance, I'll show you. And part of the painting has a chickadee on it, and part of it has an aspen tree. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I has never thought that it is hard to paint an aspen tree. Okay, that was one of the first lessons that I took maybe a few months from my watercolor sister, also living in our area. And she said, "Oh, Kathy, if you're so interested in art," at that time I haven't really get started because I had told myself, I need to take care of my children, and there's really no time for me to do art justice, right? But since she was the teacher and she was one of the members of our church, I decided to take it from her. And one of her lessons was aspen, and I picked it up, I guess relatively fast. It wasn't that much of a challenge to me, but wow. So I had prepared that aspen with the chickadee, for the sister to paint. They had no problem with the chickadee. The biggest problem they had is the aspen tree the chickadee is standing on. They just struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle. And I thought, oh my goodness, what is happening here? And so they end up spending the majority of the evening trying to fix the aspen tree, and I would, I try not to fix it for them, but then I end up, when they get too frustrated, I end up just take their paintbrush away and help them finish it up. But they had the hardest time with the aspen tree, and so I hope that is not the case with you. But if it is, or if there's any trouble, okay, that you can always leave me a comment, write me, something that you wanted to tell me. I always love to hear from you. And also remember, you can always change the quality. Okay, since it's so long of painting, you can always change the quality yourself and make it so that on the little shape that it looked like a wheel on YouTube, you can always go over there and try to change the quality of the high def to high def. I think after I uploaded it, YouTube usually give me 360 or something, but you guys can just change it back to 720 or 1080. The pixelation, I'm not very good with the vocabulary, so I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we need to give these two this one. Okay, we have kind of established the shadow and the light. We need to give them a little minute to a few minutes to dry up, and so I really should just stop picking on it, shouldn't I? And then let's work on this area first. Okay, now but since that area is a little bit closer to us, and so let's give it a little bit more of a detail maybe. Okay, and I'm not even thinking about the green leaves. Okay, so since they have the tree area and the feet, we can just do it in segment. Okay, that actually make it easier for us. So right now what I'm doing is I'm dropping in the darker color. Okay, dropping it in, and this is when it gets to the tree. Okay, so and then what I'm going to do, quickly come back with some just a clean moist brush and soften that area. Okay, so it will bring out let the cylinder of the of the shape of the tree start showing up. Okay, so in this area, because it's about the same color, right, with the foot, and so it makes it a little bit of ambiguous over here. If you want to, because it's kind of like they're mingling together, the color, right? Sometimes you hardly tell where's the the feet of the bird and where's the tree. If you want to, you can come back and just use some darker black color or gray color and separate them. I don't know if I will remember to do that. If I don't, I just want to say it now that you guys can do that, okay? Don't worry. Or you can even use a marker, or even a pencil. You know, just go in here when it's dry, okay? Just try to draw a line, okay? Or you can use a marker, or you can just use your paintbrush and go into the dark gray color, Pink's gray, or Pink's gray mixed with black. You know, you guys can all do that, okay? Don't worry and don't be shy. Just do what it takes for you to feel comfortable. You know, I am usually quite comfortable with things mixed together here, you know, because it's just the feet, but you will know if I did it or not when I show you the final painting, okay? So I'm doing the same thing, okay? I'm just trying to make this area look like a cylinder, okay, over here, and it's just that simple. You know, you drop some dark color in the bottom and then you soften it as you go. And yeah, not too much to it. You know, you will know as you watch more video from me that I am more particular when it is the main object, and then when the main object, which in this case are the house sparrow, are done, I'm usually very nice and loose and fast with my background object. You know, that is just something I've learned to do, and it worked for me, okay? So, but this area, there's a lot of shadow, okay? So you can actually leave this area a little bit darker, or you can come back and put the shadow down here. Mainly this field area is quite shadowy because, you know, of the bird, right? The birds are casting the shadow onto the branch, and so it will be darker than the branch over here, right? And so we can do that. We can just leave this kind of darker gray, you know, all around. Whereas over here I like to leave some white, because and under the foot, it probably under his feet is quite dark. You know, just try to be a little more correct, you know, in portraying the situation of the shadows and dark, you know. So okay, I'm over here, so I'm just like, my mind is thinking, oh, okay, maybe that should be a little bit of a light area, and so I would do that. I would try to reserve some white, you know, to suggest this, give the sun a chance to shine on that, okay? So I will keep doing that, continue to do this, and want to tell you, you know, I think my voice is doing quite well now after the episode of getting RSV from my grandchildren. However, unfortunately, I dropped a cleaver on my foot this week, and I had to struggle with that, and I was I don't know, my husband actually told me that he watches my video, you know, but we never talk about the content, right? And he's very sweet to me. He's very supportive. He's my Patreon. He actually financed my my endeavor. Okay, now over here I'm going to drop in green color. Okay, I'm going to drop in some green color so you will not see me, you know, particularly trying to close that area. As of right now, it looks like there's, you know, where's the branch going to, right? You can't do that, have the branch suddenly disappearing in mid-air. But so, you know, I'm not complaining, really. He didn't mean to hurt me. So we were out, very happy, having a good time, and going to my son-in-law's, I call him my son, of course, you know, he's my bonus son. How's that? Lunch, and okay, So I will keep talking about the story, okay? So over here, okay, I'll show you sometimes some of the things that an aspen tree will do, okay? And so we can easily, you know, since it's kind of grayish blue, so we'll just like keep using gray. Maybe should we keep using gray color? Because I don't want it to turn dark or introduce. Yeah, I think we will, and see how it goes, okay? Now aspen, when a branch grow out, you can see that I actually have a line over here, right? Okay, so it looked like the tree actually, it almost seems like it's cracking open. Okay, it almost seems like it's cracking open to allow the branch to grow out. And so we would love to and needed to portray that, okay? And so right now I'm just working with the gray color, okay? And to show you that the process, okay, is very irregular. It's irregular, but the branch over here is regular, okay? And it will, you know, look like it's just a tree doing its thing. Okay, so we need to make sure we paint that, okay, so we can see that. And so what I'm going to do is still trying to make it kind of muted, you know, don't put too much detail on it, and then come back and see if it needs more detail, if that makes sense, for it to look pretty. Anyway, so I was let's do this part too, okay, because this is a part of the tree growing out, okay? So we will do the same thing, and just it's almost like the tree. I'm sure that there is a biological term for this, you know, which I am not very familiar with. Of course I am not, but still I'm trying to, you know, I'm going to let this go and match it down here a little bit, okay? Okay, and so, you know, sometimes down over here in this area there's like a lot of, what do you call that, the bark of the tree over here are very, very irregular, okay? And then it just like continue onto the branch. That's why painting aspen is such a fun thing to do, okay? But since, like we say in the beginning, right, we are doing a background, so let's try to contain ourselves and not put too much detail on here, okay? And we just kind of suggest that, and so we give to the viewer that we actually know what we're doing. We know how aspen tree looks like. I love looking at our aspen tree because you know, there's so much to look at for an aspen tree. It's so pretty, and it has so many, like, I like to call it the cracks, you know. It's so irregular, and it's not a boring, the branches certainly is not a boring thing, you know. And so it's just like so much fun, and so I just love to paint it all the time. But I know, you know, I hope you guys don't get tired, because maybe one day we will just do aspen tree. You know, leave in a comment and see if you guys would like me to just do that. Ah, look. I like it. I seems to like it, you know, because it's just so much fun. It's so much fun to you know, to use your watercolor and put in all these like details, you know. Just but we have to control ourselves, okay? Not too much detail, okay? Now let's do this part, and this is okay. I'm gonna have a little more detail than I should. Let's just say it that way, okay? A little more detail than I should. Make sure I'm in frame, because, you know, I just love it. And so we're coming here, and then I'm just gonna let you, it's kind of hard to explain what I'm doing, right? I'm just gonna let you see, you know, how, and then you follow me, okay? If you have a hard time, because it's hard for me to explain what I'm doing, I'm just like slightly putting horizontal mark on the aspen tree to make it look like a real thing, okay? And then, of course, there are, aspen is famous for this, the little line, right? And so you know, let's make sure we put that on. You know, I'm using almost the side of my brush and partly the tip of my brush now. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? Okay, let's overdo it a little bit again and put an eye. I call them the eye because they look like the shape of an eye, right? And this is the shape of their eye, and their eye are actually made up of this. But anyway, one of the watercolor teacher that I painted with, you know, for a few months, you know, the first thing that she taught us to do is aspen, and we had a lot of fun. But anyway, so back to my foot, okay? So you guys can watch me do the eye and I'll tell you about my foot. So I drop my cleaver on it and make a big opening. It wasn't too bad. It was 1 inch by ½ inch deep. I guess that is kind of bad. Okay, I'm still trying to recover from it, and I'm not having a good time because one night I got infected, and you know why? Because, well, we took our son out to eat for his birthday, and we were having a good time, and my husband and I say it was time to go back. It was lunch. I go back to work and school for them, and we were, you know, kind of wasn't thinking. Nobody was thinking about my foot, which is fine. You know, I'm not a very self-centered person. I just had my foot under the table, and I was happy. Just, you know, I almost forget about my foot myself. Okay, let's do another eye over here. You know, not a whole lot, but just a few here and there, okay? Okay, usually it's lighter color, and then there's area where you need to drop some darker color in there, okay? But remember, not much detail, okay? Not much detail. And so when my husband was getting up, he scraped his shoes, the bottom of his shoes on my wound, because it was on top of my foot, and I really did not want to. Well, there's nothing I can do to make it like more comfortable except to wear socks over it, which was hard, and so I just leave it uncover the wound, except maybe what the doctor put on. I went to the not emergency room, but what do you call that? Okay, suddenly my brain freeze. What do you call that? Urgent care. Okay, and they glue it. So the glue, and they put a little tape on top of the glue. Okay, and so I did that and didn't think much of it, and it was doing very well. My body is kind of strange. It would, when it's like healing. Okay, I'm just like really not putting a lot of detail. Okay, when it's healing, my body usually like to drop a lot of saline, like salty water on my wound. So it was doing that. So to me, it's an indication that, oh, okay, my wound is healing. Okay, and so I was very happy, and wow. But when my husband scraped my wound, I hurt quite a bit. It hurt quite a bit, and I thought, oh no, am I going to be in trouble? I thought, maybe I am in trouble, but it was painful, and then the pain went away. Well, that night I couldn't sleep, and decided to, the wound decided to complain, and it was hurting, and so I thought, oh no, you know what's going on? And it was like I didn't sleep very well. And then next morning I woke up, okay, let's give it a crack over here, okay? So it's like the tree has a little crack over there, but not a lot of detail. Don't compete with the bird. If you want to have fun, you know, like I say, maybe I can think of a way to paint, maybe we'll paint an aspen grove or something like that, okay? So we can have fun, but let's not do it this time to have the tree compete with the bird. You know, we just wanted to slightly indicate what we wanted to show, but not in too much detail, okay? And so, well, get infected, and I had to go get antibiotic, and I was swollen and was angry. The wound was angry with me, and so that's what happened to me the past few days, okay? It's very angry with me, and so you know, my family had diabetes problem, not me. you know, not yet. At least I hope not. I try very hard to eat healthy, and so I've seen my brothers, no, my brother and my father, that wound doesn't heal very well, and so that kind of freaked me out. And so I make sure that I okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay, for all the detail, let's do some detail over here. Okay, that will be a fun part again. We decide, and so so some of the thing I do is I intensify my leg exercise so that it give the blood a chance to so I'm doing this kind of like this area, okay, kind of like this area, but I hesitate to put too intense color over here. Okay, so as the tree turn, my brush turn with the tree to show what the viewer, how the aspen tree, they do have some detail, and I'm gonna come in and soften some of the detail. Okay, I'm still in frame. Okay, soften some of the detail over here. And so I also realized that I need to elevate my foot, because the water or liquid, whatever that inside, is now looking at me as like it's a big huge wound, and then before it gets better, like 2-3 days into it, I injured again, and so my foot is not really very happy with me. And when the liquid when the liquid accumulate in the tissue, you know, underneath the skin, it actually is very, very hard to walk because it's all swollen. And so I am managing it, and so I really should not be. See what I'm doing? I'm just putting some detail, just a little bit, not a lot. I'm trying to manage, so maybe I should not be sitting here for too long. It's been a half an hour already, and I feel okay. I actually had quite a good pain tolerance, you know. Oh, my husband felt so bad. And so I called the intensive care people. Told me, not urgent care, sorry. People told me that I can actually call back and get, if I ever get infected. So I got some antibiotic, and he told the nurse to tell me that I need to go back in to see him if it doesn't get better in a few days. And you can tell how much I love going to see the doctor, right? So I'm just hoping that it will get better in a few days and I don't have to go see him. Not a very enthusiastic doctor seer myself, but it's like but I would go on walks even with it being injured, because I know that, you know, for the body to heal, we cannot baby the wound. Need to go and give it some stress, and so that's what I do. I stress it out. Intentionally stress my friend at church. Actually, I told her about it, and she said, "How's your self-inflicted wound?" I wasn't trying to inflict myself with wound. Whatever. Yeah, I guess I let the cleaver drop. I was just talking to my daughter, and we were cooking, and suddenly I felt this thing cut into my foot. And my daughter felt so bad. She said, "If I weren't talking to you, Mom, I wouldn't have, you wouldn't have gotten the injury." Well, injury happened. You know, I always like, okay, so I'm Chinese. When I'm in the house, I'm usually barefooted because that's what we do. We in Hong Kong, the streets are very, very dirty where I, grow up, and so it's just our habit. We don't really wear shoes in the house to make sure that we don't bring in all the germs from the street, and so that was, just always been my the way I I deal with life, and so. But once upon a time, a long time ago, when I was using the knife, I thought, yeah, but what if one day while I'm cooking, this knife actually dropped on my toes? I thought about that and never thought too much of it and thought it would never happen. Wow. But what I'm grateful for? I'm grateful it didn't land on my toes, right? There's something to be grateful for, right? That would have done a lot of bigger damage, I would say, that I probably wouldn't want to. Okay, let's do an eye over here. And so it's always something to be grateful for, that I'm not actually further injured, more injured than what happened to me. But I'm sure that it will get better because I don't have diabetes, and it's hard, that, if you have family had that, every time you get a serious wound, you're worried a little bit, I guess, Let's go down a little bit more. Match up over here. I'm just trying to randomly do what an aspen tree usually does. And so, yeah, maybe my husband won't listen to this, so he knew that. But if he does, he know I wasn't complaining. It just happened. I guess it set me back a little bit. My recovery. Okay, now we're doing those lines on the tree. Really fun. I'm a big fan of pines and just big fans of trees. I like to look at them. So when I go hiking, I really have a lot of fun. See, now I'm just saying this, in case if it is rounded up, then your stroke should be that way, right? If it is below your eye level, then your stroke go down, like a downward, not really a circle, a curve, But I say that the reason why I'm doing straight lines because I'm assuming that this is eye level, okay? And it really is eye level. And so I wouldn't want to do the upward or the downward stroke that I was, if it wasn't eye level that I was going to do. So this side will even be less detailed. Let's see if I can constrain myself. Okay, so this is the area where it's going up the tree, which is quite fun. Yeah, I like to, when I go hiking, which, is another setback, right? Because, well, we don't have a lot of snow. This year actually there's not much at all. And up the canyon about, I would say, half an hour to 45 minutes drive from my house. We like to go. There's this place called the Alpine Loop, and I like to go snowshoeing. Because it's like a winter wonderland up there. And if you go during the week, you can actually. There's a lot of birds, chickadees, lots of birds and lots of beautiful scenery to see. But I don't think we get to go snowshoeing this year. The best we can do is probably ice cleating. So you wear ice cleats so you won't fall down on the icy part of the trail. And so now I'm injured, so I have to wait. I still exercise, like I told you, I go on walks, but not as much as I should or could. So I don't like that. I'm a very impatient person, right? Okay, that's it. I don't want to do any more detail on there nor over there, okay? And so let's drop in the green color, huh? Because if I were to make a painting with you guys about aspen, I like to do fall, and so what I'm doing is like I'm actually, you know, you can say I'm actually start working on the background. Aspen during the summertime, actually the leaves have a lot of yellow to it, and so we can't, or we shouldn't, you know, really do the leaf too dark green. Okay, so because this branch is going nowhere, right? So here I'm coming in with a big patch of green. I probably could use a bigger brush, but let's see how I do first, okay? And then, because I wanted to show you guys what I am going to do, is kind of fun. I'm going to, after this big patch, the more intense area, I'm going to come in and soften it. This is what I always do, is, you know, kind of my, okay, and the green can come over here, right? Because there might be some leaves over here, we don't know. We are the artists and we do whatever we want, okay? So this is literally the background, so you're coming in right next to the bird, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna just let this go and just continue to soften the edge and pull out the color, okay? Continue to pull out the color, and then we'll come back with some detail if we wanted to. If we desire, we can do that. Yeah, when I do the real so now over here I wanted to do some there's some Payne's gray actually on my on my what do you call that, on my indigo. Okay, so I'm gonna just, this is actually a suggestion of the even further background, okay, behind the green. Okay, so I'm just gonna, you know, just to give the background some color, okay? Just to give the background some color. Okay, and as I do that, I kind of randomly, I will drop in some green. Yeah, so you can see that how if we were to do fall color, how cute that would be. How fun that would be for us, huh? But, you know, we do fall color when it's around fall, but we don't have to. We are our own boss. Maybe late summer, then we will have it ready for fall. We can think about it that way. Yeah, too much one color, so I come in and drop some indigo there to suggest, you know, not just a flat green color. Okay, and between the birds, you know, just a little bit will do. I would just stand there and watch our aspen tree and watch the, I remember I have this little area that's kind of, you know, open, if you may call that, or the lost line, you know. Now is the time to bring in some of the green, right? So the bird is kind of very pretty mixed in with the background, or blend in with the background. Okay, it's kind of fun and nice. Something that we can do with watercolor. Okay, so I'm gonna put another bigger patch of green, or, you know, more intense pigment, let's say it that way, not bigger patch, more intense pigment of green over here, okay? That suggests to the mind that we have leaves, summer or spring green leaves, okay? Yeah, so we would, you know, go and do snowshoeing, and it's really fun. Snowshoeing is a lot easier, just walking. I guess it burns a lot of energy. Maybe, I don't, you know, I can't really tell. I guess it burned a lot more than hiking. I guess hiking is just walking, right? Okay, so like I always do, this is the background, so I like to bring in the green into the tree, okay? So it's not like such a harsh line, you know, there's a blending of the color into the tree. I like that. I think that looks pretty. Okay, blend the color into the bird. It's fine, you know, we can do things like that. Okay, now we're going into the light area, so we planning not to do too much indigo. Okay, so I'm gonna get the indigo in here while I can. Okay, and this area I think we will just leave it light green. How's that? You know, patchy light green, and maybe drop some of the yellow that I like to use in with the lightest yellow that mix with my green color. What I usually use is the cadmium yellow light. Okay, cadmium yellow light, because it's a very true color, and then we can blend it in with my mixed, and it doesn't mud up. You know, if you use yellow ochre has other pigment in it, and so if you use that to mix color, you have to be very careful. You should try it. Now, do you see that I just brush it into the little bird's head? We can do that. Okay, and so still leave this area kind of light greenish. Okay, and then as we get closer to the tree, we will allow some indigo to mix in. It's a watercolor background fun. Okay, so see how I don't really mind. I just have my color going into the bird's head, and it has always worked. Anyway, and so it is really fun, and my husband and I actually wanted to go on hikes and make some video for people to see in Utah where are good area. Okay, now even over here you can see that I'm going to bravely put in some green, because to our human eye, when we're focusing on it, the background is just a big patch of green and blue or brown, mainly brown, but I choose to use blue for the tree today just to offset some of the brown color. So you can actually, you know, do things like that. Just drop in the green on next to the tree, you know, and not even worry about it. Okay? Okay, now, so we have a little bit, it's 47 minutes in, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, well, maybe just do a little foot here in case you were worried about how I make a, you know, let me see. Let me use the marker just for fun, okay? For the foot to separate them, okay? So I just come in here. You can either use black or, do you see how I do it? You know, I just maybe define it a little bit, but it doesn't have to be a lot, okay? And sometimes some of the line are kind of blending or fuzzy, and that will be fine too, okay? But if it bothers you, but it doesn't bother me, you know, because I'm just like that, you know. I like things to be just kind of mix in like what the eye actually perceive things to be, okay? And so that kind of clean it up. Now, so do that quickly so we can do some suggestion of leaf. That's what I wanted to show you. Now, because the leaves are not the focal point, okay? So we have to try to remember that, okay? Leaves are not the focal point, but we wanted to see some leaves, so we come in here and we will try to suggest leaves over here and over there, okay? You know, because you know, like I say, I used to have the aspen tree, so I know how the leaves look like. They are medallion, kind of medallion, but a little bit more oval. Okay, so we come in here and there to suggest the shape of the leaf, okay? And so that we will, to our eye, we know that, you know, I actually, without it, you will still know that those are leaves, right, of the aspen tree. But they're very, 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 very pretty, because they, you know, as the wind blow on them, they, what do you call that? They crackle, quickling. Okay, so you can not too much of a fine line. Okay, just a suggestion. You can see it here and there because that's how our eyes perceive it, right? Let's do some over here. You can see the leaves here and there. But we don't, you know, we fall short of actually trying to paint every leaf, because that wouldn't be pretty. And just let it, you know, show up here and there so your eye can tell, you know, your brain will say, oh, okay, those are the aspen. Quaking leaves, okay? And in the fall, they would be yellowish, very, very yellow in the early fall, and sometimes they go into brown. And those are fun time too, and it's really fun to see that and to paint that if we have the chance to do so. Sorry, get out of the frame again. Okay. So just suggestion here and there, okay? Just suggest to the eye that we have aspen, but not in great details, okay? And, maybe some this way, maybe some going down. You can paint the whole leaf, or you can see that what I'm doing is I'm actually painting part of the round shape, right? I don't close out. The shape is very organic. I don't close it out. I just allow it to, you know, our eye to feel in the detail. That makes it very, very pretty. Okay, this tape keep wanting to come out, which is fine. Okay, maybe I'll do some over here. Okay. You know, there was one time I actually, in one of my husband and I take one of the hike, and he's very patient with me. And one time I actually just go pick a branch. Do you know that that is one of my all-time favorite thing, is to pick a branch of a tree and paint the branch and the leaf. Just sit there in the wilderness and really enjoying the breeze and the fresh air, and that's the kind of thing that I like. I do. I am. I wouldn't call myself strange, but I think I am kind of strange sometimes. I do what I like to do. I would just you know, but sometimes you know, it's hard to get me to do what I don't like to do. That is the problem. If I don't like to do something, and it's just very, very hard. And so you know, sometimes even with commission work, I would tell people, you know, well, I am an artist, and I do not find that, you know, to be something that I would like to do. And I will just, I hope I don't disappoint people. Don't mean to, but, you know, sometimes if I don't find something pleasing, I don't do it. Okay, I'm going in. I wanted to show you guys, okay, how I use my paint spray to do branches now. I love to do branches at the very, very end because, well, you know, as I told you, I learned things, okay, by myself. And so as I was younger, there was a time where I practiced Chinese watercolor. I get books and I learn it by myself, and somehow I have teach myself to enjoy doing branches. And so it just kind of stuck with me. And so I did that a lot. And so it's just something that's very enjoyable to me, that I like to do at the end of drawing a bunch of trees and stuff. I always like to use the finer detail brush and do the branches. And branches is a very, very good time for you to practice doing the lost line and the fine line, you know, because as you know, when we look at some branch, we don't always, you know, see the every single little segment, right? Sometimes it's covered by the leaves and come by another branch, you know, and whatever it is. But it is quite fun to have the opportunity to do so, and it's something that I love to do. Okay, make sure I'm in the frame, and make sure that the color needs to be a little more intense. Okay, over here, and then it came out. Okay, because I've drawn some of the leaf here, right? And now here are the branches that support the leaves. Okay, I think that's quite pretty. You know, you can see some of it, you can't see some of it. Okay, and I wanted to do one that come out of somewhere not quite at the middle, like maybe over here. Then you can, because that's more realistic, because in real life, you know, this kind of thing does happen, right? We have branches going here and going there. That's like, you know, to me, that's like, it's like a jewel of a painting. Doesn't take a lot of work, you know, just because it is not, you know, we don't want too much of a detail or too many branches. Let's just say that. Okay, we don't want that either. So I'm trying to, you know, soften it a little bit so it doesn't look like it is the main part of the painting, if that makes sense. Not too sharp, the line, because it is in the background, but painting branches are a lot of fun. I can do that all day long. Okay, so there's suggestion of branches here and there, and I think, you know what we need is one coming out, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do a patch that, you know, kind of coming out of here. Okay, like we will expect it to come behind, from behind the aspen, from behind this big trunk over here. Okay, so that's why I did this in a separate video, because I don't want to, like last time, you know, like I said, I don't want to rush through it, right? We have fun things to do. Let's do the aspen a little bit of justice and not rush through the painting and miss all the fun thing that we could learn. But I do felt rushed though today, so maybe pretty soon we will. Okay, now I'm just doing some leaves. Maybe pretty soon we actually will do. Okay, all right, if there's anything I would add, I will see if you can tell. We'll see if you can tell, but I think this okay, let me straighten it out so you can see, even with the tape here, how the painting turned out. And remember I showed you last time, the reason why I do this is because I got this frame. Okay, so I will show you the whole thing, take pictures and put it on my blog post after I finish distressing the the frame that I thrifted. Anyway, wow, I really had fun. And, that one, my thing just dropped. If I went too fast, you guys can slow down and watch it and try it again. And I think I might even further come in and like make this, you know, like a little bit even softer, okay? Because, you know, as artists, right, we go back and look at our painting and say, are the branches too strong? Okay, if it is too strong and compete with our bird, we definitely do not want that to happen, right? And so we will soften it a little bit, soften that a little bit, so it will all be very good and nice and subtle and pretty. Okay. Anyway, I am very grateful that you guys come and join me. Please leave me a message if you like to say hi and tell me what you've been doing. And I hope you can continue to come and paint with me as I try to find pretty painting to paint with you guys just for fun, so we can, you know, spend some time doing something fun for us, benefit our soul. And also, I would love it if you would like it, the video, and subscribing to me will make me very happy, because that's the way I get feedback and see feedback from you and see if you guys really like the thing we're doing here. Okay, I like to think of you guys as a family, and thank you for joining us together. And I will hope to hear from you soon, and then we will see you in the next video. Okay, you have a good day. Bye bye.